Scholars, let's review how to solve rational equations. Let's go over a couple of examples. Always find the least common denominator and also the numbers that we need to avoid. Very critical that we do that. Let's start. So we have the first equation here, 5 over 6 plus 3 over b equals 1/3. We need to isolate the b. B as in boy, this looks like a c. Now I'm just going to change it to an x. Okay? So now we need to solve for x. Of course, here x cannot be 0, because of course if x is 0, 3 divided by 0 will be undefined. That's the number that we need to avoid. Also, the LCD will be 6x. So the LCD, how do I do it? LCD is of course 6x, and x cannot be 0. Okay, so just as before, we multiply by the LCD every term, each term, so we can get rid of the fractions. So multiply this guy by 6x over 1, 6x over 1, 6x. Of course, here 6 over 6 is 1, so we have 5 times x, 5x, plus x over x is 1, 6 times 3 is 18 equals 6 divided by 3 will be 2 times x, 2x. And now it's okay. Perhaps we can maybe subtract 5x. So we have 18 equals negative 3x. If I were to divide by negative 3, x equals negative 6. And we are done. You can always verify to make sure it's okay. So let's continue another example, folks. I have 7, 3w. Of course, here the LCD 7 times 3 will be 21w, and w cannot be 0. Very similar to the example that we did before. So we multiply by 21w, 21w. 21 divided by 7, that will be 3 times 3. We have 9w. Plus 21 divided by 3, that's 7 times 2, 14w. W over W equals 21. 9 times W is 23. W equals 21 divided by 23. Divided by 23, divided by 23. We have that W equals 21 over 23, and we are done. Okay, let's try another example. I rewrote it, so we have the example 1 minus 7 over q equals negative 6 over q squared. Of course, my LCD, this is over 1, so it's always q squared, always the highest exponent, LCD q squared, and q cannot be 0. As always, multiply by q squared each term. And let's see what type of damage we make. 1 times q squared is simply q squared minus. This over this is q times 7, negative 7q equals negative 6. It's a quadratic equation. We can always equal it to 0 and solve accordingly. Q squared minus 7q plus 6 equals 0. Now we're looking for factors of positive c. That gives me negative 7. When I add them, so q times q, that will be minus 6 times 1. Okay. So when q minus 6 equals 0, q equals 6. Or when q minus 1 equals 0, q equals 1. Notice that the only number we had to avoid was 0. So we take both answers. So the two answers will be 1 and 6. Of course, I always encourage that you should always verify it in the original equation. Let's try 2 more examples. Okay, let's try this one. 5 over x minus 9 plus 1 over x plus 9 equals 18 over x squared minus 81. course, we need to find the LCD. I'm going to x squared minus 81. This is difference of squares, and this one factors as x minus 9 times 6 plus 9. So your LCD is going to be indeed x minus 1, x minus 9, x plus 9. So we have it already. So my LCD, x plus 9 times x minus 9. And of course, x cannot be negative 9 or positive 9. So I'm going to write like this. Okay. As always, we multiply by the least common denominator everywhere. Let me rewrite this as black ink. X minus 9, x plus 9. So now we multiply by the LCD everywhere. So let's see if I can x minus 9, x plus 9. So that's what I have. Let me just write just the parentheses, okay? It will be kind of messy. And then same here. Notice that x minus 9 cancels. So we have what? 5 times x plus 9 plus. Here the x plus 9 cancel the 1 times x minus 1. I'm going to write the 1. Normally we don't need to. I'm just going to write it down just in case in other examples you have a different number. Okay. So here, of course, both of them simplify will be 18. Now back to basics. Now we can just distribute accordingly. So we have 5x plus 5 times 9, that's 45. 1 plus x minus 9 equals 18. Let's combine like terms. 5 plus 1x, 6x. 45 minus 9, that's 45, 35, 36. Plus 36 equals 18. Okay, so now what do? We just simply subtract 36. So we have 6x, 18 minus 36, that will be negative 18. We may divide by 6. So x equals negative 3, which we accept because we had to reject plus negative 9 or positive 9. So this is a good one. Okay, let's try 2 more. What about this one, folks? Notice here, of course, x cannot be 0. 12 times 0 will be 0. We may not divide by 0. Same here, 4 times 0 is 0. So x cannot be 0, and the LCD will be 36x. As always, multiply by 36x. Okay. And let's see what type of damage did we make here. Well, here x over x is 1. 36 divided by 12, that would be 3 parentheses x plus 3 plus 36 over 36 is 1, so that would be x times x squared equals x over x is 1. 36 over 4, that would be 9. Okay, so we are done with the quadratic equation. Let's expand this puppy. 3 times x, 3x. 3 times 3 is 9. Plus x squared equals 9. Of course, we equal it to 0. So what do we have? Let me just write it in standard form. X squared plus 3x, 9 minus 9 equals 0. So that's what we have. Solving for this, factoring will do. Applying the zero product property, x equals 0 or x plus 3 equals 0. Therefore, x equals, let me just write at the bottom. Therefore, x equals negative 3. When x plus 3 equals 0, x equals negative 3. Notice that we have 2 potential solutions, either x equals 0 or x equals negative 3. However, remember that x cannot be 0, so we discard this one. We only keep one solution, x equals -3. Okay, well, one last example, folks. X over x plus 5 equals 50 over x squared minus 25 plus 6. Of course, LCD, we need to factor this one. This is a difference of squares, which is x plus 5, x minus 5. So I'm going to change this guy as x plus 5, x minus 5. This is over 1. So my LCD is indeed x plus 5 times x minus 5. Notice that x cannot be 5, it cannot be -5. Let me just write it properly. I need to avoid -5 here because -5 plus 5 is 0, so x cannot be -5. I need to avoid -5. 5 minus 5 is 0. -5 and plus 5 minus 5 and +5. Okay. So let's, as always, multiply by the least common denominator. So I'm going to be a little bit practical, not lazy, practical. Notice that here x plus 5 eliminates, simplifies, so we have x parenthesis x minus 5 equals, here both of them simplify, will be 50 plus 6 times. Remember, folks, when we multiplied this, it was what? X squared minus 25, right? When we factor it. I'm going to put it back like that. So now it's a quadratic equation. We need to equal it to 0. Let's expand this puppy. X squared minus 5x equals 50. 6 times x squared, positive 6x squared. 6 times negative 25 minus 150. Minus 150. Minus 150. Quadratic equation, let's equal it to 0. So I'm going to move everything to the right-hand side. So 5 minus 1 x squared will be 5x squared. We are subtracting x squared. Plus 5x. 50 minus 150 will be negative 100 equals 0. Notice that I can divide by 5. So I end up with what? X squared plus x 5 minus 20 equals 0, which of course we can find factors of negative 20. That gives me positive 1. 5 times 4, we need to play with the signs. X plus, x minus. So I need my positive 1, so it'll be the 5 is the positive, the 4 is the negative. Yeah. So when x plus 5 equals 0, the x equals negative 5. And when x minus 4 equals 0, x equals 4. So we have two potential solutions, but of course, x cannot be negative 5. So thanks, but no thanks. Only one solution, x equals 4. And we are done. Thank you.